Good morning and welcome back to Shanghai, China. It is a gloomy, rainy, miserable Sunday morning here in Shanghai. It is almost 6 a.m. so join me for a bike ride. Today's video starts in the area that I live in. I do not live in a touristy area, but we are heading downtown. So remember what it looks like now, because at the end of the journey, we're gonna be downtown, baby. That is a church. Yes, they do have churches here in China. That man is doing his exercises. The old people here in China, they wake up very, very early to do their exercises, to go shopping, something that is very, very different from the UK, because old people, number one, they don't go out and do their exercises most of the time, but number two, they don't like to wake up early. This is my absolute favorite part of the day. Just before most people wake up, so the streets are going to be empty. I actually really like living in this area because I don't want to live downtown. I want to be able to travel downtown when I want to, but I want to be able to leave. So the area that I live in, it is southeast Shanghai, and you're definitely not going to see tourists around here. There's no big landmarks or anything, which is what I like. Everybody else is on their electric scooter, but I got a pedal up there. I'm currently riding a shared bike. I just picked it up from the street, and you're going to see these shared bikes absolutely everywhere around Shanghai and around China. You get blue ones, you get yellow ones. You just scan this QR code with your phone. It's going to unlock, and then at the end of the journey, it's going to tell me how much it costs, how much distance I've covered, so I can show you that when we get downtown.早上好，我叫 Ben， 我是英国人，但是我住在中国上海。我是3年级英语老师。如果这是你第一次看我的视频，可以关注我，谢谢。Good morning, my name is Ben. I'm from the UK, but I live here in Shanghai, China, as a 3rd grade English teacher in a primary school. If this is the first video of mine that you're seeing, why not hit subscribe, because I show you what life is like here in China for a foreigner. It's an extremely, extremely interesting place to live. I feel very, very happy, very blessed every single day that I get to live in this incredible place. Yes, it is a Sunday morning, and yes, I do wish I was tucked up warm in bed, but I'm going to join my run club this morning. We always meet very early Sunday morning, 7 a.m. for a long run. So I think we're going to be doing about 20k or 25k or something this morning. Some scooters going by me there. And I usually take the metro downtown, but this morning I thought, why not wake up a little bit earlier and take a bike and show you what the journey is like, because it's extremely interesting to see the change in the scenery. Because right now, you're not going to see any tourists here, like I said, but we're heading to the most touristy area of Shanghai. So you're definitely going to see a big difference of what the streets look like. But everywhere is going to be so clean. It's going to be extremely beautiful with the flowers and the trees. They take care of every single area of the city, not only downtown, not only the touristy areas. Because I know a lot of cities around the world, they will only clean up the areas that they know tourists will go to, because of course they want to make a good impression. But it doesn't really happen in China. Like, every single area, in Shanghai especially, is going to be very, very clean. So please let me know if you enjoy videos like this, because I can definitely make more. You can see, unfortunately, The leaves have not grown back yet. You can see two people playing badminton there. I think they're probably 60 years old. How many 60-year-olds do you know that wake up at 6 a.m. and meet their friend to play badminton in the street? I don't know any, but here in China, like I said, the older people, they like to wake up early and get their exercises done. That is something that you should definitely see if you ever visit China. Go to any park in the morning, in the afternoon, at the weekend, and you'll see so many old people dancing with their friends. They're going to be playing instruments, they're just going to be hanging out, playing games. It is such an interesting thing to see. There's another guy. He's out doing his exercises, and another guy doing his exercises. These are older people, okay? Every person I've seen so far is at least 60, but I'm sure they do it every single morning. Got some more of those shared bikes there. Blue ones, yellow ones, they all have QR codes. You just scan it on your phone, it's going to unlock, and that is your bike. I absolutely love this about China. Just one of the many, many reasons why living in China is extremely convenient. And yes, you don't have to be living here to use the shared bikes. As long as you have Alipay on your phone, that is the app that every single person uses in China. Download Alipay, connect your credit card, and yes, you can use the shared bikes, even when you're visiting. So I was talking about the street cleaners. There's a guy there sweeping the street, 6 a.m. That is the reason why the streets are so clean. It is not because Chinese people are so courteous that they don't throw trash on the ground. They do, but the reason they do is because they know someone is going to come and clean it. I just love these residential areas. Like I said, absolutely nothing at all fancy about these areas. Oh, it's starting to rain, absolutely beautiful. But we're going to see people start to open their shops, get ready for a busy day of business. Hopefully it's busy for them. Breakfast place across the street there, selling steamed buns. Just look at this. I think this is beautiful. But this is a completely normal street here in China. My guy's holding his puppy. Gotta get the puppy under the umbrella. Look at this. This is what most of Shanghai looks like. Most of Shanghai is not flashing lights and tall buildings and famous things. This is just a standard street in Shanghai. Bank of China there. I swear, some of the questions I've had about life in China. Do they have banks in China? Of course they do. Do they have movie theaters in China? Of course they do. Do the products that they sell in China also say made in China? Of course they do. I swear, crazy questions. Still riding my bike, by the way. So a few weeks ago I filmed a bike ride on the East Bund. It was a beautiful sunny day, and a lot of people loved that video. Number one, because of the beautiful scenery, but number two, just because it's such a beautiful area to ride a bike, and I highly recommend it to anybody if they visit Shanghai. Go and ride a bike on the East Bund. But I had a comment to say, Ben, how did you film this video? I'm literally holding my camera right now, and people forget that I'm literally filming these videos. Like, nobody's filming me. I'm holding my camera while I'm riding this bike. Yeah, I just thought it was weird that somebody wrote a comment. How did you film this? I'm holding my camera. There is a middle school across the street there, so all the kids in this area are going to go to that middle school. You can see they're collecting the trash there from the street cleaners. Honestly, so much respect for these street cleaners. I usually wake up at 5 a.m. and run because I need to get to work at 7. So I'm usually running at 5, and the street cleaners have already started their work at 5. So much respect. They take a lot of pride in their job. And that is why the streets look like this. There is absolutely no reason why any street around the world should be dirty. Why can we not clean up? China does it. So you are going to see a lot of chain stores, restaurants, fast food, coffee. Luckin Coffee, this is probably the #1 most popular Chinese coffee brand here in China, in Shanghai definitely. But you're going to see a lot of personal stores, like people, their whole life relies on these stores, and that's what I like. I like going to personal family-run stores. A lot of they're usually the most delicious restaurants, the ones that are family-owned, not the chains. Once again, just remember the scenery, because it is going to change very, very soon. Wow, we've been lucky this morning. We've had green lights all the way. Let me show you under this bridge. Another street cleaner there across the street, doing his work. I have so much respect for these people, so much. So talking about these shared bikes, the guy in front of me, he's wearing a suit. So he's going to work. People use these shared bikes every single day. I don't care if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're young, if you're old, every single person in China will use these shared bikes. That is why people take care of them. Okay, get ready. I think you're going to be in for a big surprise here. I'm going to cross the street because there is something here that I'm sure you don't expect to see in China. All right, let me stop my bike here and let me do the big reveal. So, what do you think I'm going to show you right now? It is something that you probably have down the street from you, and I'm sure you don't expect to have it in China. That is Walmart. They have Walmarts here. It is not a popular supermarket here in China. I think in Shanghai there's only about 4 or 5 supermarkets, but I am going to be making a visit to Walmart very, very soon just to show you what it looks like inside, because I bet it doesn't look like the supermarket where you live. Chinese Walmart. There's my bike, just in the middle of a Chinese street. What a surprise, huh? Video coming soon, Walmart video coming soon. Let's get back on my bike. It is gloomy and rainy. It's definitely not cold, and I'm definitely ready to run. I'm in the process of running 2,026 miles in 2026. I have another YouTube channel, if you didn't know. It's called Run with Ben, and I keep you updated there on how my runs are going, because I have a big aim for this year. So I'm making very, very good progress. The link is going to be in the description if you want to run with me on my second YouTube channel. The bike is speaking. Do the bikes where you live speak? Do they speak to you where you live? I don't think so. China, baby, China. Still speaking. I'm just coming to a busy intersection. Just behind me there is a huge shopping mall. Now these shopping malls are absolutely everywhere around the city of Shanghai. You don't have to live in a fancy area to have one of these huge shopping malls. We are still not downtown. We're still not in the touristy areas. But this is the real China. Well, this is the real Shanghai anyway. I highly, highly encourage anybody that visits China to get out of the touristy areas. It's out. People getting their breakfast there. See, these places are starting to open. Just real people living their lives. So if you are curious, there are 2 sets of rules here in China. Number 1 is for everybody, and number 2 is for the old people. The old people, they do it absolutely whatever they want. Nobody's going to tell them off. Nobody's going to tell them they're wrong. They can do whatever they want. There is definitely a hierarchy system for the old people and then everybody else. Like, see that old guy just walking straight down the middle of the street? Nobody's going to tell him. No car's going to beep at him. He does whatever he wants. fruit and vegetable store there, just opening for business. Once again, please tell me if you find this interesting. I love going to the landmarks in downtown and the fancy areas, but I also love doing this, showing you real life. And I'm so happy that I live here and I have time to do this, because I had a comment recently to say, Ben, the foreign tourists don't have time. There's a big fruit and vegetable store there. They're just unloading the fresh deliveries. Someone said, Ben, foreign tourists, they don't have time to get out of the touristy areas and see places like this, see the non-touristy areas. And I do agree, but I also don't agree, because you've got to prioritize, you know, like how many times can you walk down the Bund? How many times can you see Nanjing Road? And, you know, come and one evening, one morning, just take a walk down here and see the real people living their lives. And I think it should be a priority, to be honest, because I like seeing the real place wherever I visit, not only China. I've been to 70 countries, 70, and I like to see what the real people are doing and see what the real place looks like. So get out of the touristy areas, I encourage you. Just look at all these bikes. Nobody's stealing them or vandalizing them, breaking them. People are taking care of them because people use them. So these bikes line up nicely. It is not a coincidence. It is not that people come and stack them up. It is because there's people working for this shared bike company. They drive around in vans, and if there's a lot of bikes in an area that is not very popular for pickup, they will literally put them in a van and drive them somewhere. See, all of these bikes are outside an apartment building, so of course they're more likely to get picked up there rather than a non-popular area. So the men in the vans, they'll pick them up and they will take them to a place that a lot of people like to take the shared bikes, because of course the company's going to make more money. For example, my apartment building, there's always at least 100 bikes outside, because a lot of people live there and a lot of people use these bikes. I've never ever stepped outside my apartment and there's not been a bike there. There are always bikes there. Well, there's always bikes everywhere. Some more restaurants there, just opening. People picking up their breakfast. You can get breakfast for probably $1. Get some delicious fresh DM bean, or you can get some steamed buns. Chinatown in London, I think one steamed bun cost about $6 or $7 about £5, but here they're like 20 cents. So yeah, you're definitely getting ripped off when you go to Chinatown. And you know they're going to be more delicious here as well. £5 for a steamed bun is craziness. You can buy a whole meal for that. I'm almost there, by the way. We're just coming to one of the main streets here in Shanghai, and I would say we're almost downtown. I think this journey is going to be just over 10k, I think 6 or 7 miles, so I can show you the end of the journey, because when I lock the bike it's going to give me all the stats so I can show you. Here we go, let's cross this huge intersection and we can see something very special at the end. That tower on the left, that is the Shanghai Tower, the 3rd tallest building in the world. Welcome to Century Avenue. This is kind of like a 5th Avenue. It's going to take us straight down to downtown. Look at this, it's beautiful down here. So cool. Spring is here, spring is here. Leaves are growing back, flowers everywhere. Beautiful, beautiful time. The best time to visit Shanghai is in the spring. April and May, best time. Another street cleaner there. That is why. That is the reason why the streets are so clean. Ooh, look at that. You can't even see the top of the towers. The clouds are covering. That is so cool. This is going to sound extremely strange, but it reminds me, I don't know the name of the street, but it reminds me of Philadelphia. The street that leads towards the art museum, like the Rocky Steps, it reminds me of that. I don't know why. I guess Fifth Avenue is not really a good comparison. I just said Fifth Avenue because it leads to the downtown area. You should get a nice view over here. Look at that. And I haven't even showed you the most iconic tower yet. It's coming up, it's coming up. Let's go off-road. Extreme sports. I'm gonna say it again because it's so true. We are downtown, there is no trash. There is no homeless people. It is still so clean and beautiful. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. Shanghai Tower. This is beautiful. The cherry blossoms have started to appear around Shanghai. Pretty much every single park is going to have beautiful cherry blossoms. Let's go back to the street because we can head straight towards the towers. Look at these shed bikes, so many. I think we talked about shed bikes too much in this video, but they're just everywhere. Honestly, the first time I saw the Oriental Pearl Tower, I was just blown away by it. It still blows my mind. It looks like AI, it doesn't even look real. Incredible. It has a rotating restaurant at the top there. Highly recommend. Ooh, wow. Wow. Isn't that cool? And then behind me, Shanghai Tower, there it is. So cool, I live here. Let's get as close as we can. There's a metro station here, Lujiazui station. That is the name of this area, Lujiazui. Oh my, oh my. Let's do a loop of the roundabout. Usually this roundabout is absolutely jam-packed. We still have the Chinese New Year decorations on the roundabout there, Year of the Horse. This is so cool. This is literally the only time of day you can do this. Extremely rare that there's no cars here. I actually don't even know if I'm allowed to be here on a bike, but this is just too good to miss. Wow. Let's take a closer look at those decorations and then we got to get out. Because I'm still not sure if I'm allowed to be here. Look at that. Beautiful flowers. Downtown Shanghai. Let me park my bike this way and then we can take a walk up there. Could put my bike right here with these bikes. There is my bike. I can show you what my phone looks like. So if I press lock, the bike's going to speak. And now my bike is locked. I just cycled for 50 minutes and it cost me 4.5 yuan, which is 65 US cents. And there is something new over here. Here's the Disney store. And they have something for, looks like Disney Cruise Line over here. First time I'm seeing this. They got something, looks like a photo opportunity over there. Look at that. It says Disney Adventure. I do know that that is the newest Disney ship. It's the one in Singapore. It's the one in Singapore. So cool. Disney Adventure. This was the first ever Disney store in China. Very, very big one. Yeah, I think that's a photo op. That is so cool. Look at that. Disney Adventure. Yeah, there's a seat. That's a seat. See? What would happen if you put that in Times Square? Tell me what would happen. That wouldn't last 5 minutes if that was in Times Square. Here we go. Let's check out Lujiazui. There is nobody here right now. I think they need new flowers, unfortunately. Very, very windy, so they've been destroyed. How cool is this? I just cycled from my home to here. Amazing. Again, those street cleaners hard at work, making the place beautiful. Shanghai Tower. And that is the end of this video. I hope that you had fun riding a bike with me from my home to downtown Shanghai. I'm gonna go run with my run group now. We're gonna meet just over here. So have a great day. Hit subscribe if you want to see more videos from Shanghai and from China. It is an incredible place. I think I'm so lucky every single day that I get to live here, and there's so many more videos coming because I love sharing my life with you, and I really hope that you find it interesting. So have a great day. See you next time. 再见.